We say evaluation is stays the same, right? Synthesis. And then challenge your analysis, right? If you have not been using that, you know what's one very good way to practice? This handout, full of all the macro questions, right? You go through all the part B's. And you think of how you write your synthesis, how you challenge your analysis. It builds confidence. The school's evaluation paragraphs could be very, very long, very detailed, but you just need to know that there are certain angles that we follow. Okay, so if there's a question on standards of living, I think your stand, you will say overall, is it good or is it bad for standards of living, correct? And as always, I know you'll feel a bit exposed by subscribing to such a clear stand. You want to say they are good and bad. I see people missing on evaluation. It's a waste. And these are people who have time for evaluation. But theirs is too safe. They'll say overall, there are many angles to consider. There can be good points, there can be bad points. And then you don't give a stand. You won't get a credit. So, how do you say this with more ease? You can try to say material versus non-material. Overall, it's beneficial for material standards, although it could hurt non-material standards. That's one way. Or you could say current, future. Overall, the productivity campaign is going to boost standards of living in the long run. But in the short run, there could be conflicts and it could even worsen standards of living. Okay? One of the school's answers even mentioned if you're more productive, you have more time for leisure. Non-material standards can improve. Can, I think it's okay. Okay? So, challenging your analysis. How? For questions on SOL, you can challenge by saying not every country puts equal weight on material versus non-material. If you're talking about Singapore, I think we have shifted towards emphasizing more of the non-material aspects. We are now concerned about issues like congestion, competition, stress. Okay? Whereas when you look at developing countries, they are probably more concerned about sustenance, right? Developing countries, like if you talk about Brazil, you talk about Indonesia, you can even say we can see them still suffering from environmental problems, pollution. Why? Because they want to focus on the basic issues of sustenance, burn the forest, right? So this is really because they are still fighting for their livelihood. Okay? Now another way to get evaluation is to write a contextual analysis. You notice I've downplayed this over the months because this should be under your BCC, the last C. I always say context is a double bonus, man. Alright? So, context, if it's about Singapore, there are a lot of things you can say. Okay? SOL specific points. If you highlight this, you can say per capita numbers could come under strain in future. Why? Because Singapore has a very ambitious target. We want 6.9 million population size. So if your GDP doesn't catch up, then we are probably going to see a fall in real GDP. More people are sharing your pie. Okay? Second point, Gini coefficient. 2018 numbers, 0.458, 0.404. Do you know why we have two sets of numbers? Yes, very good. This is after you include government transfers. Transfers are like welfare, GST vouchers. Okay. You can also say Singapore spends on healthcare and education. We spend quite a bit on these two. So you will not say that non-material is not addressed. Okay. You can say Singapore is very export driven. So higher GDP may not translate into things that are for consumption. They could be for foreign consumers. Not good also. So this is the entire section on GDP. I first brought you through the framework. Or you want to address under G, make sure you can see how to tie events to G. What do you bring it under D? Gini coefficient and your composition. And then under V, add more context if you can. Okay? After GDB, I brought you through marks teach. I got you to find the balance yourself, right? And then we work through evaluation. Okay? So just make sure you know the goals. Alright. National income, there's just a little bit more and then that's it.